NoFap is sweeping across the world, nation by nation. More men are understanding the power of keeping their hands out of their pants and keeping their minds focused on becoming strong leaders, strong men. The world needs it. Now, the harsh reality is that NoFap is not good enough because 90% of men who are practicing NoFap, and over the last 2 years inside of our sexual alchemy program and our leadership training program, we've trained close to 2,000 men over the last 2 years, and we're just warming up. And here's the deal. Most of them attempted some level of NoFap and it didn't work for them. That's why they came over and started practicing with us, because they recognize that NoFap is not good enough by itself, especially if you've got years and years of pornography use, or you've got bad habits, you're still smoking and drinking, or using social media as escapism. And what ends up happening, anybody knows who's practiced NoFap, and you just do it by straight willpower, right? What happens? You get hornier, right? Right. You're all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want it more. I want it more. Maybe you get angry. Maybe you get frustrated. Maybe it even leads you to other negative habits and into these downward spirals into, all kinds of websites that you've been trying to give up. And the reason that is because you haven't transmuted that energy, because you have to actually transmute your S3X energy to get the full benefits and 10 times your masculine power. That's what we teach men how to do. In this specific episode, brand new 2023. Yeah. 2023. We started off a brand new series called Semen Retention International, and it's all designed to help you master your S3X energy, transmute that energy, and unleash your masculine leadership and power. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you more why NoFap's not good enough, what is the solution, and how you can implement it into your life right away, even if it's been struggling with pornography or masturbation or vices for years, as well as one technique General Jake is going to be showing us that's going to up-level your entire practice, your entire NoFap journey, and ultimately become a semen retention master. We got a general's report and a few other things for you, so stick around. Let's get into it.
Soldiers retain. Real strong men are self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Real strong men are self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain.
Yeah. Semen Retention International, episode number 1. We're starting off the new year in the right way. This is the perfect place to be if you're serious about giving up pornography, about giving up all the negative habits that you may have accumulated, learning to transmute your energy and unleash your masculine power in this world. You might know, you probably know that the world needs healthy masculinity right now more than ever before. And we're leading you, we're helping you, we're there to serve and support you. So we welcome you to the show. Let's start it off right away. By the way, I'll just give thanks for everybody watching live. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell, you get notified. We're going to go live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Monday. So at this time, every single Monday. Now, if you're watching the recording, great. Make sure you make it a weekly habit to tune in with us. You were Captain Jake last year. Now you're General Jake, and you're going to be leading entire captain's programs, which we'll announce in future shows, all kinds of ways that you guys can help us spread this mission. Why don't you give us the general's report for the week?
Yeah, I got a promotion to general, so I'm grateful for that, Nakula. Thank you so much. And I was really relating to what you were saying actually in the beginning there. I just want to say, because I was actually trying NoFap myself before I came across you and your work and this program, and the same thing was happening to me. I was feeling repressed, getting, you know, more agitated, more angry and stuff. And you know, and I just had to learn to transmute the energy. People used to say to me, you know, if you hold semen in, it goes up to your brain. It's like just holding it in. Is it up yet? You know, but you have to actually, you have to learn to transmute the energy. So I'm grateful to have been learning that with you.
And actually,
And
yeah, just to add to that about like, it is true that it goes up to the brain. Unfortunately, we live in an age that most of us, the reason it doesn't, if everyone's like, can I just do it without these practices? Can I do it? And it's like, yes, if you've lived a very pure life up to this point, but good chances are you haven't, right? And you've been masturbating and watching pornography and doing all kinds of nonsense in your life, like 99.9% of us on the planet right now. And the reason that it doesn't travel up to the brain is because actually through years of masturbation and through years of pornography watching, you've trained your energy to flow downwards, or even just when you build up enough to spill out. So some guys like come because they're having wet dreams or night falls.
That's happening to me as well.
Yeah.
And I would hold it in, but then all that would happen was that, you know, I'd get so upset about it, be like, oh man, like, or it would just build up so much that I had to release it somehow, like after some time, because it just wasn't being transmuted. I was just holding it in, and it's making me become more frustrated.
Yeah, and it's because we most of us have never grown up with any kind of sexual control. In fact, you might even being encouraged. Mainstream media is now telling people,
it's encouraging to put it down
and
release it, let it out. And also, I hadn't been in touch with my energy before. We haven't been trained to be like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, feel the different energies in my body. Before it was just like you just get aroused, and like you said, all you know is, oh, it's down there and that's the way out. Release.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're wondering, why isn't, it's one of the reasons why we say NoFap's not good enough. It's one thing if you grew up in a lifestyle where you never fapped before, then great, you probably don't need this. But if you're like 99.9% of men on the planet, you're absolutely going to need to retrain your body to do it. And it's just simply why NoFap in itself is not working for so many men. And you actually have to, NoFap is great. Like it's not a knock on NoFap, but it's by personal experience. And now, again, we've trained almost close to 2,000 men over the last 2 years in all our different programs and trainings and events. And it's really clear to see that most men are failing on NoFap until they take up some kind of transmutation program, some kind of retraining program where they recondition their bodies and their energies. And that's what we're teaching you how to do. So let's get into that general's report. Let's figure out what's going on inside the army and what's happening this week.
So it's a new year. At the end of last year, we did a yearly debrief. We always do a weekly debrief, but we did a yearly one this time to go over all our wins for the year, to notice our challenges, opportunities for this coming year, and our goals. So most guys in the army who did that, we're focused on what, you know, the energy we're coming into this new year with and our goals. Because also when we transmute the energy, we put an intention into it, we put it into our lives. So it's good to know, you know, what we want to use it for. It also gives you a mission to put this energy in, and a reason to do it. So yeah, we did that. And then I did my first time setting a challenge this week. It used to be you, but I set the challenge this week. And it quite simply is go back to the beginning of the program and redo all the practices. And me and you are also doing it. I've actually gone back a few times, haven't gone all the way through again once, but I've looked back through all the practices again. So I'm really looking forward to going back and going through it like chronologically how it was designed. Because when I first did it, I did literally that. Your program was so well designed, Nakula, that I literally just did it in the order and it worked. And we also have many examples. Actually, today we want to shout out someone. Every week we're going to shout out someone. We want to shout out Jeremy, who did the program. Yeah. And he actually had really good evidence. He went to a doctor before he did and had his testosterone measured. Then he did the 6-week program in the right order. He did, you know, he committed, he did the program, and then he went back to his doctor and found his testosterone had increased by double. You know, so this is the kind of thing that happens. And I know that for me, within the 6 weeks, my life completely changed. I went to like not being able to do it, like you're saying, we're trying NoFap or whatever, or just, I wasn't calling it that. I was just trying to control my energy, but I couldn't, you know. And it was frustrating me. But within 4 weeks, just some of the initial practices, I was like able to hit my goal of retaining for 1 month at a time. And from then on, you know, because of these practices, it's possible to do that. You know, I can be more conscious about it. So me too, within 6 weeks, it completely changed the way I see that kind of energy and that kind of lifestyle. So yeah, so that's the challenge this week, is for everyone to go back through the practices, and those who haven't finished the program to go back to where they stopped and continue, because we really notice in the army that the guys who do the practices, they get the results, they retain for longer, they hit their goals. The guys who don't do the practices, they're struggling more. So it's just quite simple. This year is practices. And this week we're all getting into them again. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And of course, you're leading the challenges every week, which is allowing us to stay committed to the lifestyle and the practices. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're thinking what practices and what program, what we're specifically speaking of is the Become a Sexual Alchemist training program. That's how you get into the army. You have to you purchase the program, which is a 6-week training course that teaches you how to, first of all, clear your body and cleanse and detox your body from the years of pornography or masturbation or negative sexual thoughts or negative sexual habits. Guys who might be experiencing erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, this first 2 weeks of the course is really going to help that. And then also, if you just simply you're just so addicted to maybe sex and sexuality, and you don't want it to control you anymore, you actually have to clear your body like muscle memory. And so the first 2 weeks of the program are designed to give you a good reset and detox. Then the next 2 weeks of the program are designed to actually open up your energy channels. So according to yoga philosophy, we have 72,000 nadis, or energetic points in the body. And most people have heard of the 7 chakras as the 7 main ones. And we work with 21 specific points known as the microcosmic orbit, which run from the bottom of the pelvic floor up and around the back, which is known as the fire channel, down the front, which is known as the water channel, or masculine and feminine, and the 7 main points up at the top. So 7 on the back, 7 on the front, 7 coming up the middle, which is 21 points of the body, where when you open up those points through the different exercises, through Qigong, pranayama, different techniques that we show you, meditations that you can use, you'll feel this energy starting to flow through your body. So first 2 weeks is cleansing the body, preparing the body. Second 2 weeks is expanding the capacity for your body to hold energy. And then the last 2 weeks is all about actually cultivating sexual energy. So now when you're practicing NoFap, you'll notice that you're not angry, you're not frustrated, you're not getting overly horny. You'll actually just get used to having a lot of sexual energy, and you'll be cool with it. You'll feel powerful and you'll feel magnetic. And then we get into some higher practices where you can actually open up the third eye. You could focus on your goals. So you're transmuting it. You could transmute it into your heart. And these practices, they make you a better lover. So if you're married or you're with somebody, you're going to become a better lover, a more intimate lover. You're going to be able to last as long as you want, experience non-ejaculatory orgasms. And outside the bedroom, you're going to be able to use this to unleash your masculine power, your leadership. You're going to have more influence, more impact. More influence and impact equals more income, attraction. If you're single and you want to, attract women into your life, opportunities, because it's all about your frequency. It's all about your energy. And when you learn to consciously skyrocket your energy, to expand your energy, then the world expands with you. Your consciousness expands. So if you're on the spiritual path, if you're serious about your spiritual journey and exploring consciousness, then there's no option for you other than to transmute your sexual energy. In fact, without it, your spirituality is pretty much just for show. You may be doing all the rituals and everything else, but you're really not dealing with the root of why your consciousness is trapped in the body anyways, which is ultimately our lust. And
Yeah,
so
for me, that was why I got into it, because that was really getting in the way of my spiritual advancement. And I think if we're serious about that, then we should want to clear anything that's actually in the way. And a lot of us, let's be honest, we have a lot of sexual energy. Well, it just means life energy. We have a lot of
yeah,
energy, but it's a shame we don't know what to do with it. So this energy comes up and we think, oh, I've got to just release it, or oh, that's bad, so I'll just like try and hold it. But once you know how to use that energy, you can use it for so many things consciously, like you say, your life, your business, your relationship, your spiritual life, whatever. And what actually I found is it gives you a higher taste in this area, because a lot of us, we might do some meditations or something like that, and we start to feel a higher taste, and we can let go of some old habits. But this one is so strong, it's hard. But these practices, these energy work, gives you a higher taste in that area, so you're able to actually calm it down to a point where releasing it in that way feels like, I don't even want to do that. Like to like masturbate or something just feels like that's like a bit
yeah,
rubbish and a
that's
bit lame.
yeah, that's happened in my own journey. Like when I first started, so we teach edging and different things within the course so that you can get used to cultivating energy, get used to it, and you have a progressive ladder to work with so that you can it's very difficult for most guys just to stop cold turkey. So rather we give you a progressive ladder, different techniques where you can slowly increase your capacity to hold this energy within yourself. And then eventually I remember like one day I just lost the taste even for edging and everything. Like I was just like, I just don't want to do it. So now I live a life where I don't masturbate. I very rarely ejaculate, maybe 3, 4, maximum 6 times a year, every few months. And as I get older, then that will reduce, because we use the Taoist calculations. And it's not like you can never ejaculate again. You don't have to be extreme like that, like a monk per se. This is not really for monks. This is for men, that are in married life, men that want to be strong leaders, have influence. Maybe you want to, make more money in your sales. You want to increase your influence. Maybe you're a coach or you're a healer and you want to have more energy to be able to make a difference on this planet. We're really looking for conscious leaders to work with. And of course, if you're still stuck in masturbation and pornography and that type of lifestyle is still with you, and you want to be done with that, then it's time to be done with it. And so that's what these do. And yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add, I did a really interesting calculation. I don't know if you saw it. I shared it in one of the battalions recently. I realized that, my goal now is 1 month is the minimum. Like, so I retain for 1 month at a time. And I haven't done that perfectly all the time, but most of the time I've been able to do that. So I calculated that that's ejaculating. Sorry to get very into it for anyone out there, but I'll be completely honest about this, the reality. Yeah. That's 12 times a year, yeah, once a month. And when I look back to my old pattern, which just from growing up, it was like, just because I didn't know what to do with the energy, it was maybe 1 or 2 times a week. And that's actually not much compared to a lot of the guys that we get in. That what I realized, a lot of people, it might be every day or every few days. So getting to once a week actually for a lot of guys is like a big deal. So let's say mine was on average every 5 days. That adds up to 73 times a year. So I've gone from 73 times a year to 12. Do you know how much energy that saves? And I really feel the difference. It's like completely different. You're giving away so much of your energy that I just didn't know. Every 5 days, oh no, I'm agitated again. Oh, I have to release it just so I can get back focused again on my life. And and I would try and go longer, and I wasn't able. So look at that difference, and how much energy I'm saving now. It's like such a big change.
It's a massive difference. Even a small improvement in the semen retention lifestyle actually equals exponential growth in all areas. So either way, everybody's winning who decides that they want to take this serious. So I think we've given a lot of information about why NoFap isn't good enough. And ultimately what the solution is sexual alchemy. It's alchemizing or transmuting that energy. It's learning to work with it consciously. There seems to be 2 narratives, and I see a couple questions, guys, coming in, and we're going to get to those in a sec. And by the way, if you do have questions or comments, please leave them in. We'd love to hear from you. So what the solution is to transmute that energy. There seems to be two narratives around sexuality, and what we're doing is we're bringing a brand new narrative to the world, which is neither one of the extremes. So the first narrative is the mainstream narrative, which is you need to be ejaculating all the time, just have enough at it. You know, even schools in this kind of woke culture are teaching like, yeah, you know, 4 or 5 years old, find a safe place to masturbate. In my opinion, and they're introducing stuff like that way too young, way too early. And I believe that's being done on purpose to really weaken men, to make us a weak population, an addicted population. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money from us being weak and from the family core being attacked like that. So we really got to be conscious in our life and think, use our smarts and our intelligence and our own personal experience to say, am I a better man when I'm self-controlled, when I'm mastered, when I'm focused, when I'm leading, when I'm decisive, or am I a better man when I'm addicted and I'm watching pornography or smoking dope or drinking alcohol and just being passive in my life? Do I feel better when I'm leading in charge and I feel good about myself? Or do I feel better when I'm just, whimsically going through my day and just chasing pleasure rather than creating dreams? I mean, we all know, honest men, we all know the answer to that. So we can see that the mainstream narrative has an agenda, and that seems to be pushing out a lot these days. And that's, of course, why we're here, directly opposing that and going to war with that. Now, the second narrative comes mainly in religious communities, which is like sex is bad, you don't think about it, don't masturbate. And there's a reason they teach those things. I grew up Catholic. I'm now, practice bhakti yoga. And I've studied many different religions, and every single major religion has some rules or regulations around sexuality. Unfortunately, it seems like many of them don't go deep into the subject, or the subject is taboo, so nobody wants to talk about it. And what ends up happening is that a lot of guilt and shame and regret now start to form around our sexuality, and that's actually just as detrimental. Because worse than the masturbation is the guilt you feel around it. Worse than sexual activity is all the negative self-image and emotions that you develop around it when you grow up in a non-educated, conservative environment. And why I say a non-educated is that it's one thing to tell your congregation, don't masturbate or stay away from sex, but it's another thing to actually educate them on what is a healthy sexual expression, what is a healthy use of that energy. And that's what we're doing. That's what our program does. That's what the Semen Retention Army is. And that's what we're talking about, transmuting it. We're talking about a whole different narrative around sexuality that's specifically designed for men of this age, where most of us are not going to become monks and priests. Most of us don't want to give up. We want to be in family life, but we want to be healthy. We want to be strong. We want to be effective. We want to be leaders, because that is nature's calling. That is God's calling to us, and to lead our families, to lead our businesses, to be successful. And the world needs more conscious men to take up that leadership position. And it all starts with transmuting your energy and having a healthy relationship with it, being great in the bedroom, knowing how to please your woman, knowing how to be attractive, and then using all that outside the bedroom to be successful with your finances. Because when conscious men have money, when conscious men are in leadership positions, that trickles out into the society, where we can now have a healthy relationship with women. We can be strong fathers and strong leaders for our kids and for our community and for our nations. That's this mission. And if you feel the calling to that, if you know that that is what you want to do, then go ahead and reach out to me. If you actually go to my website, or it's in the links, go to nakuladas.com. Go to the contact, send me a message or leave comments. Say, hey, I want to get involved. I want to unleash. I want to be that leader. I'm ready to be done with my vices. I'm ready to be done with this stuff. And I'm ready to show up for my family and my business and my nation and community in a bigger way. And I'm going to show you exactly what I've been able to do it, what Jake's been doing it, and with the tons and tons of men that we've worked with. Now, Jake is going to show us it here in just a few minutes. I do want to answer some of these questions and these comments, though, and just acknowledge that. All right, I identify. where's that at? I identify with this message. I've been struggling with cannabis too. Does this work to develop a sober life? Yes. First of all, I struggled with cannabis myself for years and years and years, trying to quit, then relapsing on it, then trying to quit, then coming back. And now I'm completely smoke free. I don't touch the stuff. I don't touch alcohol. I'm totally high on life and high on my own energy. And it's through these practices. So please go and book a call with me. I would be honored to help you get rid of cannabis and weed out of your life. Again, it's one of those things that's become mainstream acceptable, but it's not acceptable. It's really detrimental to us, and I'd be happy to support you. Yes, these techniques will help you get over that. And then I failed 3 times to get past 40 days. Great job as far as going past 40 days. It's going to happen. The fact is we're going to struggle. We're going to fail. We're going to relapse, but we're going to keep get better, 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 stronger, stronger, stronger. And also control the less masculine men and they will control the household. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, that's a deep conversation. We're not going to dive too much in this episode, but we are going to talk about it in future episodes. So let's get into this technique and then we can wrap it up today. This technique is called the triple heater. So Jake, you want to start doing it, and then I'll just share a little bit about what's going on with this technique. It's one of the first things that you learn when you're inside of the sexual alchemy course. All right. So what Jake's doing is he's taking a deep breath in and his hands are floating up above his head. And you guys can do it with us. And then we're using the sound he, like think of a cat hissing, to clear our auric field. So it's a combination of sound. It's a combination of visualization, because as part of the visualization of this technique, you actually imagine yourself. So if we do it one more time, taking a deep breath in, you can imagine yourself becoming translucent, like transparent. And then with your intention and the sound vibration mixed with the intention to clear the aura and cool the body. Now that's one of the 6 healing sounds which we teach. It's the very first in the very first lesson when you join the Sexual Alchemy program. So again, go ahead, send me a message right away, nakuladas.com. Don't hesitate. We can be on a call by tomorrow, by the next day. I could share with you the different pillars that we use to get you the result, so you could be successful in NoFap, transmute your energy, become vibrant, become healthy, become super attractive and potent in all your work and what you do. And you can really start to lead your life in a powerful way. And again, this is so badly needed right now in the world. General Jake, you have any final words before we wrap up today?
No, I was just really agreeing with you there that we need this so much nowadays, and I'm really grateful to have this community of men helping each other to be more masculine, more honest, more reliable, and more sense controlled. It's very, very important. It's what I was looking for. I'm sure there's many guys out there looking for the same thing. I'm sure there's many wives out there looking for this for their husband as well. So send them over.
Can't tell you how many women and wives have reached out to me saying, I'd love for my man to work with you. I would love for my husband to get involved with your program. But we need men to step up, and say, hey, own our shit, like own your stuff, and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to own I'm going to take responsibility, because that's how you start to lead. You have to take 100% responsibility. And
we can't talk to your husband for you, like, oh, could you talk to my husband for me and get him to do this? It's like, I mean,
no, he's got to want to do it. I've literally said that to women who have reached out to me. I said, look, I'm obviously, that's what we're here for, is to help men. I said, but your man has to want to do it, right? We're not forcing anybody. This is for men who recognize within themselves, yeah, it's time for me to step my game up and recognize their vices and their negative behaviors and habits. That's what's not making you feel lonely, depressed, disconnected, and not reaching your potential. So it's really time to step up, fellas. Yeah. All right, guys, make sure you guys tune in, subscribe, like. Thank you so much for the comments. send me a message, reach out to me, check out the free resources. We're about to launch our new free sex transmutation guide. We've got space in our leadership program, as well as our Become a Sexual Alchemist training. So the next step is to reach out to me. We'll book a call. On that call, we'll go over what you need, where you're at. I'll go through a few assessments with you so that we can get a better picture of where you're at, and then I can have some recommendations if it's a right fit to move forward. All right. I love you guys so much. Sending you all my blessings and well wishings. And as always, soldiers
retain.
Soldiers retain. Real strong men are self-control, their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain.